Hey YouTube, it's Numistaka and I'm back with you again to talk about an interesting subject, I hope, which is, should I collect gold coins? So, where do we go to answer this question? It is a question you've been asking yourself, I guess, if you're watching this video. Should I collect gold coins? Maybe you already collect silver coins or rounds or maybe some medals. Maybe you had a coin collection as a kid and have now come back thinking, I've got a little bit more money to spend, a little bit more free cash. What should I do with that cash? Is it something I should do? Should I collect coins? And if so, what coins? Maybe you think, go straight to gold. Maybe you have been reading about Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies, and maybe you are a little bit risk averse and don't want to take the risk. Maybe you think the market in cryptocurrencies is going to crash. Maybe you invested early in cryptocurrencies and got a little bit of money that you want to take less risk with. And maybe you're thinking, should I sell some Bitcoin and buy some real money, some gold coins? So is gold coin collecting for you? The title of this video uses the words very carefully. Collect infers the coins will have a numismatic value, and I did not use the word investment in this video title. I think one needs to be very, very careful about using the word investment in the same sentence as coins, and that's really the subject of another video. So what is the answer? Should you or shouldn't you collect gold coins? Well, maybe yes, maybe no. I think it all depends on your individual circumstances. 4 years ago, I had no gold and I had a very small number of silver coins. I was learning and watching everywhere, reading up everything I could find. At the same time, I had no savings at all to speak of. I had a nice watch, some equity in my house. I'd been self-investing in a pension scheme in the UK called a SIP. And as a child, I had collected stamps in the 70s, like many kids. My brother collected coins, my uncle collected coins, and my dad wasn't really a collector, but he did buy the occasional sovereign. Your life story may be different, but my weakness with money and my need to spend took me towards a hobby where I could spend without spending, and also a hobby with challenges, intrigue, stories, and history. And I never studied history at school particularly. I wasn't a great student, but I love historical stories, and in the coin world, there's plenty of that kind of thing. So, why gold over silver? Interesting answer. Well, I do collect silver, but frankly, I do prefer gold. Silver takes more effort to sell. It can spot, haze, tarnish, tone. Silver needs to be bought absolutely at the right price, or very carefully in any event. And when I buy silver, I have rules. Either I go for low mintage silver coins with a lot of chatter in the market, maybe low mintage, things like Chinese medals. Another example of that might be some of the Rwanda lunar proofs. I go for high quality if I can, or major mint bullion in series such as Luna from the Perth Mint, Pandas, Britannias, Silver Eagles, etc., etc. Over time, I tended to trade silver for gold, and to some extent, I can't explain why I prefer doing that. I just feel safer with gold, and I've noticed on the silver forum, strangely, I'm not alone in that respect. I see collectors trying all day to manage the risk inherent in purchases, trading silver for gold, trading high numismatic gold for less risky bullion gold, and there's nothing at all wrong with any of these strategies. So what does gold offer let's take a look at a few of the things that gold specifically offers. Okay, let's start with wealth building with a low volume in terms of space. Gold, a lot of gold can be compressed into a relatively small amount of space. That makes it very portable. It means that it fits in most safes. It's a good way of using safe deposit space, and generally you can accumulate quite a lot in a space that you have available, and that it is highly transportable internationally as well. That is a great big tick as far as I'm concerned. Next is just the huge variety of coins that there is to choose from. You can focus in so many different areas, and you can see here on the mat a few of the focuses that are in my particular collection. But you can focus on country, on numismatic premium, on value, rarity, historical story. If you like bullion, there's plenty of options. Proof strikes, like these sovereigns, there's a lot of options as well. You can collect by theme, sets like pandas, lunars, sovereigns, and then even within sovereigns there's probably a dozen different types of sub-collection. So whatever your interest, there is a way of collecting with gold coins. And obviously collecting sets and series of gold coins does require an amount of money. It's not an insubstantial amount of money, but it is a good way of building wealth over time. And of course, you don't have to buy everything on day one. It's like a drip, 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 similar to the kind of pound cost averaging or dollar cost averaging you get in an investment trust or a stock market scheme or something like that. So what's the entry point for gold? Obviously it is higher. The entry point for silver is very low. The entry point for the smallest chunk of gold is probably about the equivalent of 5 ounces of silver. And then between 10 and 20 ounces of silver buys a nice chunky bit of gold, anything between 1/4 ounce of gold and 1/2 ounce of gold. Let's also look at it from the point of view of margins. Margins are really, really important. Silver margins are very high, and it's quite difficult, as I've said, to buy at the right price and sell at the right price. Gold has a much more controlled margin. So you can take a look at the spot price, you can take a look at the currency fluctuations, as I have to do over here in the UK. And if you focus on things like sovereigns, eagles, maples, Krugs, generally those kind of bullion gold coins, you'll be able to pick up at spot plus 2 or 3%. If they are not a particular numismatic value. And then if you do want to sell them quickly, and you'll always be able to find a market for these, you'll be able to sell them at maybe spot minus 2% to a dealer. Or if you sell them to effectively friends and family via forums and Facebook and other sources, you'll probably get spot up to spot plus 2 or 3%. So effectively your margin can be fairly close to zero, which means that all you're playing with in terms of risk is the movement in the gold price. So gold, it doesn't tend to move a huge amount. Since I've been buying gold coins, it's gone up to 1375 and probably as low as 1080. Now, thankfully, a lot of the coins that I bought at the lower spot price. Although, the coins you can see here on the mat, a lot of these don't relate to spot price at all. Some of them do, but things like the proof sovereigns is a 1911 sovereign, 1923 sovereigns, 1937, all of those kind of things are very, very numismatic, and numismatic does go up and down with fashion, but it doesn't directly necessarily relate back to the spot price, which leads on to the saleability. I think saleability is extremely strong with gold. I think everyone knows what gold is. There is, even for the worst nasty scratched up bit of gold, if it weighs and its purity is correct, it will sell for, a little bit under spot to a dealer. And you might think, for example, that it's riskier having rarities that you pay a high premium for compared to bullion coins that you pay a low premium for. I have found that, funnily enough, the reverse can quite easily be true. Because if you look at eBay sales, for example, it's far easier to sell a rarity on eBay than a common coin. So the risk may not be everything you think. A high quality rare sovereign will usually have about 50 watchers and about 40 bids. A common coin, even in gold, may only have 6 to 10 watchers and 15 bids. So you might actually get more interest in something that is rare and unusual than something that is common. So I hope I've given you guys some food for thought. If you haven't already started to collect gold coins, if you do have the possibility of getting the first one, maybe a sovereign or an eagle or a panda, then hopefully I've been able to do this video and encourage you to start to build your collection or exchange some of your silver for gold. Let me know what you think, and please like and subscribe so that you get notice of all my new videos as they come out.